What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and I'm super excited because today I finally do what I've been talking about doing for the last few times that we've been out to the track, and that is get this transmission tuned. Before we get the transmission tuned, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the car out just because it is really hot inside that garage. And so before we do that, this car has not been moved in a good couple days because, of course, if you guys don't know, this is my new daily. It is a 2003 Mach 1 Mustang, which I'm going to be bringing back to life. But anyways, we'll talk about that in another video. Today, it's all about the Camaro. So let's go ahead and get this cold start. That is a cold startup in sport with E85, long tube headers, no cats. It is pretty loud. But just like that, it idles out pretty quickly. Obviously, tuning the transmission is a lot more involved, especially on these 2019. So go ahead and go back and roll all the clips that'll show you guys exactly what you guys need to do to get this 2019 transmission control module removed, shipped out, delivered, installed back, and then tuned. For the 2017 and up Camaros that come with the transmission control module, the TCM T87A, you can't simply just plug in your HP Tuner's device and use the credits and unlock it that way. You actually have to either, option one is remove your actual transmission control module, ship it out to HP Tuners, and then have them do some kind of hardware unlock, and then they ship it back to you. You install it back in your car, and then you can go ahead and purchase the credits and do the unlock software-wise. Now, you can't just simply go on the HP Tuners website and click buy to get your new unlocked TCM. There is a couple bits of information that HP Tuners requires, and that is a certain number that is listed on the TCM itself, and it's called the SERV number, SCRV number. Apparently there's two different versions of it, so you gotta let HP Tuners know which version you have, along with also letting them know the VIN number of the car, because they need to be able to program that controller to match the VIN so that it'll work without any issues. So that is what we're going to do today. Right now, we're going to go ahead and jack the car up, remove the wheel, and your transmission controller is actually right behind this fender liner here, so we're going to have to remove the fender liner so that we could get access and find the transmission controller, which is somewhere in this corner here. Well, definitely turned into a more involved procedure than I thought, guys, but you do have to remove the wheel, of course, like I mentioned. You do have to pull back this panel, and there's quite a bit of clips actually, including some that are tied to the bottom here. As you can see, this fender liner actually extends all the way out under the car, so there's quite a bit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, basically this V here. You don't need to worry about these two. Not really sure what these two are doing here, but then you've got 3 more on the side, 4 more, and then on the inside there's another 2 more, and then a pop clip and another one up here. So it's quite a bit of screws, but you want to get this loosened up. Now, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see, but the TCM is right there, right behind this radiator here. And I was hoping that the sticker, the layout, or whatever name information would be right there where we wouldn't have to remove it. But we basically kind of have to go through the whole procedure of removing the whole thing just to get that information. Luckily, we won't have to remove it completely, basically disconnect it or anything. We just need to flip it over so that we could see what is behind it, take a picture, and then put this all back together. So to get to that, most people remove the front bumper, but on YouTube I saw somebody say that you can basically move the radiator out of the way by getting to 3 removing 3 of the bolts that hold this radiator together, and that is this bolt here. There's one behind it, and there's a third one right on the back side over here, somewhere in here. So I've already removed them. They're these 3. They're 13 millimeters. These are T15, and you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a pop pin. And then we also have 7 millimeter, couple 7 millimeter screws that you have to remove from this piece here. So now we can go ahead. I've loosened up the radiator, and we can kind of push it out of the way so we can get to the transmission control module. Well, guys, so as we left off, right where we left off, we were going to be ordering a brand new TCM for the Camaro with it being already unlocked. Unfortunately, because these are 2019s, HP Tuners doesn't stock or have the option of giving us a new one. So what they recommended was you have to actually send in your original TCM. So this is a TCM. I had to pretty much go back and do the whole thing all over again, as I've done before, where we got it to grab the service number here, and it's very simple. It's actually plugged, set in here with a few clips, and it slides down and then clips from the top. And you have one connector which is very similar to the ECU connector. So if you've seen my video on how to do the E85 and how to unplug these connectors, you notice it has one little red tab, and then you just push down and the little swing arm flips upwards and it just pops right off. So I had to go through and do the work again, and take out, this is the original transmission. It's a T87A, but it's got a serve number 2429, which these are some that HP Tuners does not stock, which means the only way to get these unlocked from HP Tuners is to send them in. It's here. We've got the HP Tuners transmission control module back. It is now been a couple days. This process is actually very quick. I shipped this out on a Saturday. It didn't get delivered to HP Tuners until Tuesday morning. They were able to get it unlocked that same day and have it out and shipped overnight that same Tuesday. And now it's Wednesday and we've got the TCM. So we're going to go ahead and install that back and put everything all together so that we can get into the laptop and go ahead and get the transmission tune read out, or at least the stock one read out, so we can email to our tuner Pat G and have him start doing his magic. Everything is back together. Pretty much just did the reverse again. You've got about 10 or so of these little screws here, and then of course on the bottom. But now we're just gonna put the wheel on, drop the car, turn it on, and it is, again, should be like normal, like anything else. Alright guys, we've got the HP Tuners plugged in, and we are going ahead and reading everything all over again. So we're going to read the ECM, the TCM, and then the CCM, which is the one that controls the active valves. That way we can have one complete new tune file, which will actually have the tuned ECM with the stock TCM information along with everything else, and we'll be able to basically start fresh from this file. So I'll be able to send that whole file in, and as you can see here, it actually requires internet because they actually end up having to send information to HP Tuners, and I'm assuming that has something to do with the unlock hardware stuff that they do when you send in this controller to the TCM to get unlocked. Whenever it gets to the TCM, you get a little thing that tells you contacting HP Tuners server, and then it connects to the internet and allows it to do what it's got to do. So now that we've got our 2019 tuned ECU with stock trans file, we can go here into the trans tab and see that we now have a bunch of tabs. So as you can see, we've got general, we've got shift schedule for the gear ratios for every transmission gear, we got shift scheduling things, shift pressures for different patterns, You've got torque converter information that we can mess with, and then of course torque management. And we try to read the transmission tune only. You'll notice that it's actually very quick. So we're not going to read that, and we're not going to read this, just the TCM here. And when you read it, it says retrieving flash data, and it pretty much goes very quickly. And this is what you get. You get this read warning saying the data you just read isn't from your vehicle. Your vehicle isn't readable. The data is a supplied stock file. So guys, all that now leads us here, where our tuner Pat G has sent us the tune file. We're gonna load that up onto the car, similar to how we've done all the other stuff, and then of course go drive around, data log, and see if we can get some good information for him to go back and do some more adjustments. Alright guys, so here we're gonna go ahead and write to the vehicle. As you'll see, it says you do not have a license for this file. That's because we haven't actually purchased the actual credits until you're about to license it. So we go to show the license options, and I've already purchased the 4 credits that I need for this transmission control unit. So as you see here, it'll say this is what the controller, the T87A, which is the TCM computer, is the one that you do not have licensed, and that is what we're going to license now. And it does take 4 credits. So we hit OK, and then it gives you a question, are you sure, because it can't be undone. Yes, I am sure, and boom, that is it guys. So the engine computer has been completed, and now it's trying to tune the transmission TCM, and hopefully we get a nice completed line and everything works great. Execution failed. Huh. Well, something is not right guys. Alright guys, so I tried to go back and see if I can retune this whole vehicle writing to all 3 of the controllers at the same time, and unfortunately it got the same error that I had at the very beginning when I completely wrote the ECM, but not once it tried to load and lock the TCM, it said that the bootloader failed. But as soon as I'm able to just skip the ECM and just go straight to the TCM only, it starts working properly. So then I believe when I get this failure is when I get the check engine light code saying that the communication to the TCM is failed. So we'll go ahead and test that right now and see exactly what it shows. Looks like I was correct guys. As you guys can see, we have the check engine light back on again on the first startup after flashing the tune for the transmission. So if we go here to vehicle, we can go ahead and connect using the scanner, and then go here to our diagnostics and information and go ahead and read the DTCs. So a lot of these codes are permanent codes that came from when I did my headers. So you've got some stuff, those don't do anything, but what does is this U0101 lost communication with TCM. As you guys can see, it says pending, which means that is what that code is. All the others are errors from before, like I mentioned, and they say permanent, so they stay in the system no matter what. But the TCM is pending, so all we do now is just clear the DTCs, and the check engine light goes away. On to tune your TCM, or the transmission, in these 2019 10 speeds, you have to write only the transmission part of the tune to your vehicle. You can't do the ECM and then do the bootloader and go to the TCM and so forth the way that we're trying to do it. Let's go ahead and go drive around and see if we feel any different. So alright, so it's definitely feels really good off the launch, and of course I had traction control on, so the car was just slipping and sliding and cutting things out, but it looked like it went all the way up to about 6,500 guys. So let's go ahead and turn traction control completely off and just see how good it feels from just the normal takeoff. Punch it and go. car was probably spinning its ass off. But man, that felt super smooth, guys. I think second to third even shifted all because it was spinning almost at like 66, 67. And then once it caught, it got to about the same 6,500 RPM where it should be shifting. I'm actually really impressed with how smooth the shift just went in. It's not harsh. It's not kicking. I mean, that was very impressive. First gear and then punch it. So this thing just burns out like crazy. Yeah. That was insane. Okay. Definitely need, note to self, we're gonna need the drag radials and gonna need to go to the track. That's gonna be the best place to actually get this transmission tune really dialed in, guys. A lot of this stuff I can't really do. The car's just gonna keep spinning, especially with these tires. Going from first gear, it's just not gonna happen. But if we kind of try to slow down a little bit. Well guys, there you have it. The transmission is now tuned, and now it's just a matter of going out to the track, getting data logs, and trying to figure out what we can do. Now, these new 10 speeds, the T87As, are somewhat limited in what you can and what tables you can adjust, so we got to work with what we got, and hopefully, just like with the 8 speeds, they can do some little bits of changes to help them really take off and do what they got to do at the track. So I'm excited. Can't wait to take this back out and just see how well it performs, and hopefully it'll do well, guys. So stay tuned and watch out for that video when we go back to the track with the transmission tune. But anyway guys, that is it for today's long awaited video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you guys out, especially if you have a 2019 and you're trying to get this transmission tuned. This is pretty much an all-around, you know, single user, noob, inexperienced users experience with getting this thing tuned. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your day, have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next video.